live from Fargo, North Dakota, and Cranston, Rhode Island, at the Live Food Detox show, seminar, whatever we want to call it, whatever you want to call it.
Hi guys.
We're here to help as many people as we can, so we hope you will share this video as you watch it and listen to it and learn from our experiences, so that we can help pass this information on and share it with others, the world, hopefully. So I'd like to welcome Angie.
Hello.
And today we're going to cover a few subjects on detoxification with live liquids and herbs. They are the key to everything that happens in our body, and they are the things that are missing in our diet that actually gives us energy, vitality, strength, flexibility, clarity of mind. Without those, like in the standard American diet, that's where we start to run into trouble. So I know Angie had written down a few things that we wanted to cover. So what would the first one be?
Well, I know a lot of the people sending messages are very similar as far as where do we start. That's been a constant, not knowing just what do we add in, what do we continue to do, and so we just want to give a few ideas on where to go with that. A couple of the others were dealing with the brain fog and certain foods that are going to help detox, whether it's slower or faster, and teas and herbs that are recommended and productive for detoxing. That's just a few of them. We've got plenty more, but we don't want to overload. So
Right.
Start with a few here.
So, how to start a detox. When I first started my detox, I had no idea that I was actually detoxing. I had heard about the Master Cleanse. A friend of mine and I said, "You want to try this?" Sure, why not? So that's what we did. We learned how to make the mix, and we'll have the recipe below for that. I'll put it in the comments down below in the description, I guess. And many of the other things will actually be in that description. So if you go down and click on show, I think it's show more information, these menus will drop down. But and I'll tell you what, when we first started, we were using plastic bottles to put our Master Cleanse in. Don't do that. Glass only. But we had no.
How come? Why?
How come? Because we had no idea what we were doing.
Well, right, but how come plastic wasn't okay? I know some people are going to be like, well, why?
Because that is a great question, a great point. The plastic is a more, as far as chemicals go, it's a lot denser than the Master Cleanse is. And when you put two chemistries, because Master Cleanse is chemical, it's all there is in the world is chemicals, right? When you put that in that bottle, whatever the most complicated chemical is will actually go into the less complicated, the less chemically driven, because the Master Cleanse is an astringent. So it's pulling, is what it's doing. It's pulling all that stuff out of that plastic. And you're actually drinking the chemicals that are in that plastic, and that's not a good thing. Especially if it sets in the sun, because the sun will heat it up, and it will allow more of that plastic to be absorbed into that. Even if it's water, doesn't matter. Water is also an astringent. It is the greatest astringent, and it is the source of life. So when we think about detox and say, well, why don't I drink water? Do you know why we don't drink water? Why, like if we have adrenal fatigue, right?
Yep.
And when our bodies are suffering, water is actually not that good for us because we're missing something to go with that.
Correct. Yeah.
Which
we're
is
missing the minerals.
yes, missing the minerals, the nutrients. So it takes water and minerals together, or nutrients, but minerals. They conduct electricity. So when that water and those minerals are mixed together in your body, they produce electricity because we are plant-based, hydro-electric beings. And we have to produce electricity. We have to produce energy. So, and if we're not, we systematically start shutting down. And we have all sorts of issues. And that is known as dis-ease. What the medical
surprise.
what the medical community calls disease. But there really is no such thing as disease. There's mineral, hydration, and electrical deficiencies in the body, and the body is suffering because of it. So when I started this, did I answer your question? You look.
I don't know. You lost me. No, I'm kidding. On the water, I wanted to just say as well. I ended up having that issue as well because the constantly drinking water nonstop was pushing out good minerals that I actually did have if I had, the few that I did have. And I was wondering why I was feeling worse. And I know that people are like, I'm drinking water like crazy, but I'm feeling worse. Yeah, you can overdo the water.
Yes,
straight water as well.
And the other thing about water is it is the fastest astringent you can put in your body. So when it goes in, it's being absorbed into the tissue. Because the tissue, when you start seeing people, they can't reach as high as they used to, they can't walk as fast as they used to, their body is systematically shutting down because the tissue itself is starting to solidify. It's becoming harder and denser. And what we need is soft, pliable tissue. And that's what these astringents are doing. I don't have too much in this, and it looks horrible, but this is an astringent. This is maca, turmeric, black pepper. I didn't use the black seed because it was in here. But that's what that's doing, is it's going in and it's pulling the toxins out and it's softening that tissue. And there can be a little turmoil from that. And part of that turmoil is the speed at which it's doing it. So when we first start our detox, it's important to start slowly and give our body an opportunity to adjust to what is happening in it. So if you have a glass or even half, right from here down, every morning, and you have a heaping handful of like red or very dark grapes, that's breakfast. Then go on eating the rest of the day the way you normally eat. And your bathroom habits will start changing. But you're slowly introducing that into your body. That's really important. And if you do that for like a week or so, and listen to your body, feel what's going on in your body. And when you're ready, like I said, it might take a week or two. When you're ready, have one at lunchtime with your lunch. Okay? So it'd be from here down for breakfast, heaping handful of grapes, 1 or 2 weeks, and then that second or third week, start with one of these in the morning, heaping handful of grapes, and then have another one with lunch. And do that for a week.
I know with that as well, when you start, and people that have their elimination channels blocked, that was another question, is how do we get them unblocked? Because if we're stirring these toxins up with what we're ingesting and they're not open, we got problems.
Okay, so how do we do that?
So how do we do that, Gary?
We do that with live, life-giving liquids. The enzymes, the electrolytes, and the hydration that's in this, because I mean most of this is water.
Right.
They will go in and they will start to clean, and they will open the channels on their own. I mean, that's one step.
Right.
And herbal teas, which I have going here in my Future Millionaire cup, which we already talked about. You don't want something in the future, you want it right now.
Right.
No future millionaire. I want to be a millionaire right. You got to have that mindset, because we never get to the future.
And that's an excellent point, because it's the same thing about our health. We don't look for it in the future. We need to have that mindset that it's today, it's happening right now, and changing our mindset of we're sick, we've got this, and this wrong. No, that was something that I had to change my thinking as well, because I was in that same pattern of I'm just sick, I'm not going to get out of this, I'm going to die. And until I changed it, nothing was changing good for me. And it was like the second that I changed that thought process of, okay, I'm going to think about this positively every day. Whether I feel good or not, I'm going to fake it. And it was amazing to see the things that would start to change. And I know people have asked me that as well, because I hear the same things coming from them is the constant negative talk. And it's like, you gotta cut that. You gotta cut it off and fake it, because that's what's going to get you, well, it's one of the things that's going to help get you through it and changing.
Absolutely. This is number 13 of the eliminative organs. And what you cling to.
It should be our number one.
Well, I leave it for last because I try to make the biggest point with this. Okay?
Yeah.
It is actually number one, but I don't want to go through them all and then end up, with this being the first thing I said, I want it to be the last thing I said. What you cling to with your mind clings in your body. If you're angry, it goes to your liver.
Never.
If you're pissed off, it goes to your kidneys. If you're frightened, your kneecaps start jumping up and down. And your legs can really hurt depending on how frightened you are, because you're kind of like in a state of paralysis. So it's really important to understand that your emotion, your mind, and what you eat is affecting your body every second of every day. And in the channels of elimination, to open that up, the juice and the herbs are extremely important. But so is movement. Not exercise, but movement.
Right, like rebounding, like we talked about.
Right. And you don't really want your feet to leave the trampoline. All you got to do is just bounce up and down, just barely. Just get your shoulders and stuff moving. You can make those move on their own. And just lightly, and you can stay there for, for the people that watch TV, do it during the commercials. You watch a 1 hour movie, you'll be on that thing for half an hour. So, if not more. If it's a movie, holy God, you'll never get off in it.
That's right.
So, I keep mine. And mine's right behind me, actually.
And mine's right over here.
Yep. So, it's really important to not over-exercise. That energy that you're burning up, doing heavy exercises and lifting weights and all this stuff, that's the energy that's going to heal your body. And if you burn it up that way, then it can't heal.
Yeah, I did that. I was part of that. Yep. That was excessively exercising. And, it's hard when you've been in that mindset to go to absolutely nothing. I know that you have your own story as far as where you came from, what your journey's been with this that most people don't know, as far as, where you were before and having your accident and whatnot. It'd be nice.
Yeah. I grew up 19 years. I was involved in mixed martial arts. And I was going to the Midwest to compete. Well, in Florida, I know it took a long way around to the Midwest.
Hey, you had to hit the beach.
Yeah. Well, we went down to visit some friends, and then we were going to go. So we got in an accident. We made the 11 o'clock news in Florida. That's pretty good. The accidents don't normally make the news. So all four of us were from Maine. And I was pronounced dead at the scene. And they, when they were walking away, I don't know how it happened. I lost a lot of my memory, but I moaned. That's what they told me. I moaned. He came back, took him 45 minutes to cut the car up enough to get me out of it. And so they took me to the hospital, and I was in a coma for 4 days. And so when I woke up, it had crushed my whole right side, ripped my scalp off. I had over 100 stitches in my scalp. They had to put it back on, basically. And this arm was crushed. They were going to amputate this arm. And they told me I'd never walk again. So they took me home in a wheelchair. And basically, I went home to my mother and father's. And I started working my leg. I'd have to pick it up and move it around, and movement. That's basically what I was after. And this arm actually never had a cast. I was in a 7-day Advent hospital, and it was a new surgery. So I have like 12 screws and a couple of steel plates in here. Still have them in there. And within 6 months, I was back running a mile a day because I didn't believe what the doctors told me. I don't believe doctors. I've seen too many things with my family and my friends and all the stuff going on. They're not gods. The only reason they can pick the day you're going to die is because they're helping you do it.
Yep. Exactly.
So, you got 2 weeks to live, and you're in the hospital. Well, they're giving you the stuff that's helping you die. It's not about healing. So anyway, I digress on that particular subject. So I came back. I was back to running again. My arm was still weird, but it was also, it still is numb in areas. I really can't, you can pinch it or whatever, it just feels weird.
Well, they put mechanical stuff in you too, so
Yes.
that doesn't exactly help.
Yes. Well, the nerve endings and stuff, it's that kind of thing. And I was in, but I didn't know I had lost any of my memory. And I was in Pat's Pizza up in Maine. And I was having a cup of coffee. And I looked over and I saw a pack of Sanka. And all of a sudden it was like, damn, I should drink that. So it was probably 7 months. And I love this question. People always say, so you have amnesia, what don't you remember? Well, I don't know. If I knew what I remember, I wouldn't have amnesia, but so it was pretty funny. But anyway,
yeah.
From that accident, it was the first time I stood up inside myself, because I grew up not being able to read or write. I could do artwork. I could do physical labor like anybody's business. That was one of the things I was told when I was a kid. You see that shovel? You see that it fits in your hand? That's because you were made to dig these ditches. And I was a grave digger for years. So I don't want to get too much of the show going on about me, but sure. That's just some of the things. And then when I got into the detox, my whole life changed. My brain fog went away. My eyesight, I went from bifocal glasses from the time I was 6 years old to no glasses in 7 days. The fluid in your eyes is lymphatic fluid. And if it's acidic, it's going to affect your eyes. The other thing is strain. There's 6 muscles around your eyeball. And when you get strained, they pull it, and it will go out of focus, because from your lens to the, I call it a projection screen in the back, okay? That's a given distance. And your eye can go this way or that way. And whatever direction it goes in, it goes out of focus, and your glasses make up that distance. So if you're doing I think it's called the Bell method, which is helping your eyes relax, and you breathe through your nose into your stomach 21 times. It oxygenates your blood, and it will help your vision. Actually, there's a lot of people that will have issues with stress. If you do that, if you read something and then you do that, if it's stress, you'll be able to read it much better. Just doing that simple exercise.
That's pretty cool then.
So then you'll know if it's a lymphatic issue or if it's an eye strain issue.
Sure. Easy way.
But movement, detox baths with Epsom salts, couple of cups of Epsom salts, 4 tablespoons of aluminum-free baking soda, 4 or 5 drops of peppermint in a nice hot bath, and soak in it for about 20 minutes. When you get up, you wash your body down with apple cider vinegar with the mother, live culture apple cider vinegar. And what it does is it goes in the pores and it helps kill any bacteria that's in there. And then you wait a few minutes, because you won't smell. It gets absorbed into your body.
I was going to say, that's pretty stinky. And I know that you said you've done this.
Yeah. No, you can't smell it. You can smell it when you put it on, but within 5 minutes, it's in your skin, and it's feeding your skin. And then you take organic coconut oil, and I also use a little fulvic acid and a little magnesium. But you can use just regular coconut oil, and you get it nice and melted in your hands, and you just kind of brush it on you like this, just so that you don't have a big glob of oil here. So you just kind of brush it on, and then you rub it in really good. Same with the apple cider vinegar. Just kind of brush it over, and that is killing the bacteria that's in your skin, any parasites that might be living in the pores, and it helps with the detoxification the next time. Every time you do that, this is another thing, when you're in the bath, when you get out, you may see white splotches on your skin. That's where the blood's not coming to the surface. That is a problem area. There's a lymphatic congestion right there. So we'll be doing gua sha stuff later, but for now, rub that area and get that red, and that's bringing the blood to the surface, and it's re-nutrifying and oxygenating the cells in that area of your skin. That's really important to do that, to help that lymphatic system open up.
That's a good point. I know that I've soaked, I usually will add the apple cider vinegar in my soaks as well, but I haven't done that exactly. So that's a new one to add. It's a good one.
So what else we got?
What else we had? Well, if people don't know about how to find out about if your kidneys are filtering, that's the peeing in a mason jar, as you have said before. And then I know people were wondering, well, how long do we have to leave it? And I think just a couple of hours is typically the case, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then if you don't have any sediment in it, that's not a good thing. That's meaning you're not filtering.
Right. I had a nurse write on Facebook the other day that, well, I've been a nurse and I've handled urine all the time, and I've never seen sediment in the urine. Yeah, well, that's probably why they're there.
Right.
They're having issues.
Good point.
So, excuse me. So we run into things like that all the time.
So, brain fog. Brain fog has been, the question of how do we get rid of it? Well, I know personally for me it's never going to be one thing. You can't just say, do this, you're not going to have brain fog anymore. It's been a combination as far as, I know, and I think you do as well, Gary, that it takes adding these life-giving foods and drinks along with supporting the organs that need it, you know, as far as your adrenals and your hormones and your kidneys, hormones. Oh, thyroid, sorry. Yep.
Yeah, because it's all one system.
Right.
And they're
it's
all
together.
Yeah, and we're just a big filter. That's all we are. We're a series of little filters inside us. And what happens is that's what the channels of elimination are. They're these filters. And when they get clogged, they can't eliminate because the channels of elimination are clogged. So with brain fog particularly, okay, that's a gut issue. That's a brain-gut connection. So the autonomic nerve, the seat of that is in the gut. And it runs up through your solar plexus, right up into your cerebellum in the back of your head. That is your balance center.
Which most of us are, when we go through this, our balance is completely out of whack. And that's why.
Right. So as that comes up through out of the gut, you can have nausea, you can have heart palpitations, you can have shortness of breath. That's all right in this area. And then as it runs up through and it goes into the cerebellum, you can have lightheadedness, you can have fainting spells, pressure in the head, dizziness, especially if you like get up quick and you stretch and you have to hang on to something because you feel like you're going to fall over. Okay, that's a gut issue with the autonomic nerve, and it's affecting the cerebellum. And there's a lot of things that you can experience from that, but those are the biggies, and brain fog, obviously, because that's what we're talking about is brain fog. So as you help the gut, and what's creating that in the gut is bad bacteria, is an overgrowth of bad bacteria that is more powerful than the good bacteria in your gut, and it's attacking the lining of the autonomic nerve, and that's what's causing all these issues. So getting that good bacteria in your gut back online and have more good bacteria than bad, that will all disappear. And you can do that by giving your digestive system a rest, much needed rest. And you do that with life-giving liquids and smoothies. Those are life-giving liquids as well. But water is the fastest detox. Juice is second. Smoothies, third. Salad, fourth. And like steamed vegetables would be fifth. And then cooked food, last. A lot of cooked foods will actually shut your lymphatic system down.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yes.
Yes. I know when people talk about, or they question the fruits and ending up hypoglycemic. So, you know, what do we say when we want to address that as far as the candida goes? Because some people are just scared that that's actually continuing and creating that.
Yeah, fruit won't cause candida. Candida is an overgrowth of fungus and yeast, and so what you have to do is put live enzymes in your gut, and that's what these juices do. That even if you just eat the fruit itself, the enzymes that's in there are designed. That's why people go, wow, when I eat fruit, I get hungry in a half an hour, right? That's because the enzymes are helping to digest that food.
Well, that, and they're typically not eating enough.
Right.
When they start out and they're eating a couple pieces of fruit for a meal, you can't do that, folks.
No.
You gotta have an adequate amount of calories of those fruits and greens to make a meal. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And you hear all the time too that, well, if I have, I can't mix fruits and vegetables because it'll cause a fermentation, or, well, fruit.
Oh, I went through all sorts of crazy, worried about that for a long time and freaking out because, you know, you're not supposed to mix, and yeah, so.
Well,
touch on that.
for those that are really concerned about that, the go-between fruit and vegetables is an apple. You can have 1 or 2 apples in your smoothie to sweeten it up a little bit. It's really good for you, and it will not cause that fermentation in the stomach. And that won't happen with everybody, but for those that it does happen with, if you have a green smoothie with fruit in it and you have a reaction to it, switch to an apple, and that won't happen.
Good point. I know people also get the bloating a lot with smoothies. I guess I know that I had as well, and I think some of that, and you can correct me if you think I'm wrong on this, but as far as the combinations of foods that they're doing, along with possibly too much fiber.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know what your thoughts are as far as that goes, but I know that's a question I get a lot of is, you know, I'm getting bloated all the time with it. Well, yeah, you're also stirring toxins too, so
Right.
it's kind of a combination of mixing. I think if you're mixing things that shouldn't be, because you can't combine absolutely everything in the kitchen sink in it.
No.
You know, we want to take it easy and combine maybe a couple things at once.
I totally agree with that. But and the whole thing is, we're all like a fingerprint. We're all different. So we have to explore and find out what works for us.
Right.
And if that's not what works for you, change the recipe. If it doesn't, it's better, but it's still not perfect, change the recipe again. Because you are in charge of your body. Your body is not you, and you are not your body, but you are the caretaker of it. And if you want to know how you're treating it, just take the clothes off, stand in front of the mirror, and it will talk to you, big time.
Well, that's an interesting visual.
Okay, and we have lumps and bumps and cellulite and all these weird things with our skin and all this stuff. That is all diet, every bit of it. And it's from lymphatic congestion and not being hydrated, not having enough minerals in our diet, and not enough movement. This is there's a lot of people on the site that have a malabsorption problem.
Good point, yes.
Okay, and that is mucus built up in the intestine, and that can build up to like a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch thick, and nothing can get through. So even though you're eating, and you may think that you're eating really good food, it can't get through. Yeah. So it's going to take herbs and liquids to help soften that up and move it out, and that's where colonics and enemas and you know, for somebody that doesn't want to go have a colonic done, that's where that's going to happen. I heard somebody say the other day that when they came out with X-Lax, that was one of the most horrifying things that ever happened to the health of America, because all diseases started to rise because people stopped doing enemas. People used to be taught, you need to do enemas. You know, my mother's generation, they all did enemas. And then X-Lax came out, and they stopped doing it, so they weren't really eliminating anymore like they were supposed to be.
Right.
So we need to do enemas, or have colonics, or have something like that.
Yes. It's amazing how much better I feel when I've done mine.
No. And then one of the things I wanted to show was, when it comes to hydration and when it comes to different things that are happening in the body, see, we're plant-based hydroelectric producing beings. Just like any plant. Any plant, this right here is celery. And you know what's in that? Cells. Just like our body. Everything that's alive has a cell in it. And that cell needs nutrition and hydration, just like us. And it needs movement, and that's what the wind does. It moves it. And the birds and the bees come along, and they land on it, and they the bees pollinate the plants, and so We don't have bees pollinating us, thank God, because we know that they sting and it hurts like hell. But this right here, if you put 3 toothpicks in it, and these, you should use the round ones. I don't know how well this will work, but you just put 3 toothpicks in it. And there'd be a third one over here. And you put that in a glass of water, and it will start to grow. You leave it out dehydrated, much like 99% of the people in America, that hydration starts to go down, your energy goes down with it. Because we need minerals, nutrients, and hydration and movement, just like this plant. Now, I took one of these, and I put it in a glass of water, and it started growing. Now I want to show you what it grew into. Okay, and I have this in the house. This is where it's growing right now. This is a celery plant that grew from that stump that I bought at the store. And I can pick these off and chew on them, and it will keep growing new ones.
That's awesome.
Now, we are no different. If that plant runs out of water, it starts to get limp. It starts to wilt, just like we do. We wilt when we don't have it. This is another one. This is a beet. And it has 3 toothpicks on it, but you notice there's no roots. This is about 3 months old. And if you pick one of these off and put it in a smoothie, see all these little ones, I don't know if you can see these or not, all these little ones are growing up here. And there's one in the middle, right there, that's starting. We are no different than that plant. That plant has minerals in it. And as long as I hydrate it, it will keep going. There's an experiment that a doctor did. He took a chicken heart, cut it out, put it in a dish with a solution to see how long it would keep beating. How long do you think it worked? How long do you think that kept beating?
What did he put it in? Just water?
No, it was a solution he had. I can't remember exactly what the solution was, but it was a hydration type thing. It probably had nutrients in it too.
Okay.
And they'd have to replace it every once in a while. So how long do you think they abandoned the experiment? Now this is a heart with no chicken. This is a beating heart in a dish. They abandoned the project after 20 years.
Oh my God! That's phenomenal.
So
oh my God.
we are that. It's like we're not supposed to go visit nature. We live in nature. We are nature. And nature needs nourishing.
Right. But
And
we've
that's what
learned to nourish with McDonald's and
Right.
Coca-Cola and all of those
It's
to
impossible.
nourish us, which is completely dehydrated and killing ourselves, our body.
Right.
Period.
It's a slow, painful death.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
I know that I wanted to make a note on that malabsorption that you were talking about too, because when I was going to my biofeedback gal a while back, and she was asking me, "Are you even taking in any protein?" And at that point, I was very much still my meats and fish and lean meats and whatnot, and I was just looked at her in just bewilderment, because I was like, "Yeah, in every meal all the time." But again, at that point too, all my food was going right through me. It didn't matter what I took in. I wasn't
Right.
absorbing anything. So, we first do have to realize if we're having that issue with, which many of us are, and if not, it doesn't do us a lot of good to keep plugging with all these, supplements and stuff. What's going to help? Our herbs, those are natural. Those are going to get into our system versus, I was a big, huge supplement person as well. I was taking all sorts of things. It makes me sick to think about the money that I spent that didn't do me one bit of good.
Yeah, that's the thing that really, because I've been homeless 4 times.
Wow.
So the last one, I chose the last one, and I actually had money the last time. That's when I went on my trip for 6 years in my van, taught myself to read and write, and wrote my book. But what I want to do is show people this beet I bought at the store, cut the top off. There was nothing there at all, nothing. And this grew from nothing just by putting water in it, just by keeping it in water. I let that glass go down, that thing droops right down. I put it back in, comes right back up. Just like us. Just like us. So you buy a beet and you put it in there. You want beet greens in your smoothie or in your juice.
Yep.
Cut the top off, put it in water, cut it off, snip them off, and it'll grow new ones. You're not going to get any less money than that.
Exactly.
Okay? These right here cost about 25 cents if you use apple cider vinegar. And depending on what you're paying for lemons, whether you're paying 50 cents or a buck or whatever it is for a lemon, then, and you're using a half of one in there, so if it's a buck, it's probably 52 cents worth of stuff in there. This is a 32-ounce jar of life-giving liquid. So it's really important to understand that it doesn't cost a fortune to do things. It's celery, I think you get 2 of these for a couple bucks. And then you can grow your own. Herbs, I've got herbs growing over here. I've got mint and thyme, and I've got parsley, and we have an edible flower over there, a begonia. And you can eat petals and the flower. And right behind me I've got that celery. So if you want an inexpensive way to do things, grow them. Plantain, I have more plantain outside growing, because it's winter here now, but during the summer. And then I catch the seeds during the winter, during the fall. It doesn't cost a lot to take care of yourself, but it takes time, patience, and knowledge to get what you need to do to take care of yourself.
And
go ahead.
Effort, your own effort of, jumping in and doing these things. You have to do them for yourself because nobody else is going to do them for you. That is key too. When people look at it and go, it's too hard. Well, it has to have your effort behind it. So yeah, all those things together. As long as we do all those, we're golden.
Yeah, because one of the great things that's happening is we've made ourselves sick unconsciously. Now we're trying to make ourselves well with consciousness involved, and we want it done today because we're used to. We've been trained to give. Well, you got to give 110%. Well, I gave it 150%. No, you didn't. You can only give 100.
Right.
And as you're doing that and you're thinking that, you're giving more energy away than your body is actually producing. So over time, you're getting less and less energy, less and less power, and you're making yourself sicker and sicker, and your body's systematically shutting down. Now we need to reverse that. And a good mantra would help with that. A mantra that says, even though I don't feel great today, I'm doing what it takes to feel better. Every moment of every day, I feel strong, fit, flexible, and clear of mind.
Excellent, yes.
So, and it can be whatever you want it to be. It doesn't have to be those words. As a matter of fact, if they're your words, it's much better because you'll remember it rather than try to memorize what I'm doing. Don't memorize, realize on your own thing. And I had just written down today, what was it? Don't realize, alkalize.
Don't memorize, realize.
Yeah, something like that. I wrote it down and now I can't find it. But anyway. So, alkalize to realize.
Wow,
So
even even cutting the words out or having sayings posted up in your bathroom mirror or in your bedroom mirror and looking at them, I think that's huge too. You know, even if you don't have
Absolutely.
the energy to write anything, but you can look in a mirror or you can read a saying, you know, keep reading it over and over. And it's amazing how the brain just starts to change. Things start to get better.
Yes. What was that I wrote the other day that I like this a lot, and it's about the life you choose is created by the energy of that choice. So when you choose a certain thought pattern, the energy of that thought will create that whole choice that you made. So as you think about how ill you are, that's manifesting itself. And
Yes.
that's the huge thing that happens with all of us, basically. You know, when I got out of the hospital and I was brought home in a wheelchair, I never had that thought. I always knew that if there was any way possible that I could get out of that wheelchair, I was getting out of that wheelchair. And
Determination.
yeah, because I didn't believe the doctors.
Which we shouldn't.
No.
Because they are nothing to dictate us. They have no idea what's going on in your body or what you are capable of.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They know how to systematically shut the body down till it's gone. And if you want to know about disease, death, and limitations, see a doctor.
Yeah, sadly, yep.
And if you want to know about life, vitality, and living a happy, fulfilled experience on this earth, you have to go to nature. You have to go to live liquid. You have to go to people that have been through it, figured their way out, and start following that path. Stand on the shoulders of all the people that were behind us that have come up through. And it doesn't mean that we're all greats or saints, or we're just people. We're guides, that's all. And we get to experience life by the people that we stand on the shoulders of. You know, it's like American Medical Association. Like for us, it's Dr. Morse, Dr. Kazar, and John Bergman. Those are the shoulders that I want to stand on, right?
Me too.
Who do the shoulders that the AMA stands on? Whose shoulders do they stand on? Hippocrates.
Money in your pocket.
Yeah, Hippocrates. And Hippocrates' saying was, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. They don't even study diet.
Right.
It's bizarre. Why would it be the person that you look up to and you don't even follow their words?
Right.
It's crazy.
It is beyond crazy. It's beyond screwed up and messed up, and
Yeah.
thank God that there's people like you who've done
Well,
this.
you too.
research.
Now, let's not be giving me all the credit here.
Right. But you saved me. I mean, I wouldn't have been on this journey otherwise, you know, and I thank God, because, you know, it's people who have gone through the experiences, and it's only if we can open up the eyes of people who want to listen to the medical doctors who don't have a clue. They're not in your best interest, you know? I mean, look at all of us who struggle to find the right doctor, you know? There isn't really the right doctor, because they're still going to they might have good information, they might start you on a good route, but in the end, it's us trying to figure out our own body and realizing what it does, because like you said, they're not taught to figure out the body. You know, how many hours do they have in all of their years of study? I think it's, is it even a day?
Yes, I don't think it is. I think it's around 4 hours.
Something insane. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's give them a day.
Yeah, right.
Let's give them a day.
To learn all about the body. Right.
Plus, I think it was Morley Robbins you told me about the other day.
Right.
He said, I'm a recovering hospital administrator. He read some books, and all of a sudden it clicked, like, we're going in the wrong direction here. And he left his medical practice and started I don't know if he's a naturopath or what he is now, but he gets it. He gets it, you know. The whole medical system and the whole government is on suppressing. They suppress everything and expect it to get better, and you can't. You have to have astringents and allow nature and the body to expel that which it does not want, which is the toxins. You know, when you eat something, it turns everything into liquid. Even though we're eating a solid, it turns it into a liquid. And it gets absorbed through the intestine wall, and the rest of it is eliminated. Well, if we get any blockage in any of that whole system, then it starts to back up, and the more it backs up, the more issues we have. It's that simple. It is that simple.
Well, it is that simple, and I actually have a family member that I told you about that's dealing with that same issue right now in the hospital, and they said she wouldn't even survive the night, Saturday night, and she's still here, thank God, but yeah, their idea of helping and fixing, you know, is basically nothing. Mm-hmm. It's not trying to naturally get things moving. It's, well, if she's not stable enough, we can't, you know, go in and cut her out or cut her open and cut things out. She's just gonna have to wait to die. You know, nobody should have to be like that in a situation at all. It's wrong.
I was really sorry to hear about that, and it's such a shame because if people were hydrated and mineralized and everything was eliminated properly, I don't care if you have physical issues, you still should be able to eliminate properly.
Right.
And the greatest doctor you will ever find is yourself. Because you're the only one. Once you learn to feel your body and what it needs, you won't need the doctor.
No.
Not unless you break something or, you know.
Right.
But
as far as eliminating and moving, no. I think so. I think we've knocked out quite a few things. We'll have to touch on the bowls next time that you and I spoke about.
The what?
The bowls.
Oh, the bowls. We could do that. We have about 4 minutes left.
Okay.
So, I was listening to Dr. Moore's video today, and Marcy came in the room while he was recording, and so they were talking about, you know, obviously the lymphatic system and different things, and she said, and I don't know if they came up with this or how this came to be, but it was the bowls is what they use when they think about helping someone or helping them understand what the body is and what it needs and how to fix it. So bowls is bowels, the urinary tract, lymph, lungs, and skin. So the B for bowls, the B is bowels, the U is urinary tract, the first L, lymph, second L, lungs, and the S is skin. Did that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Did I explain that well? Okay. Because I know when you're doing those things, they can get a little wacky.
A little wacky. Yeah. No, that's great. Funny thing is I'm a Taurus. I'm a bull already, so I find that kind of comical. But there's a lot of us out there, and we just need to become that bull or those bulls. And
absolutely. There's so many people finding their voice on the site. That's awesome. That's what we want, is people to find their voice and to start sharing what's going on and what they've learned, and we're creating teachers, and that's actually what Dr. Morse wants. He wants people to be teachers, and we're continuing that journey and finding people that can find their voice and are able to explain some of the amazing things that's happening in their lives because they're doing live liquids and herbs, and there's movement in their life, and great music. Music will make you move without even trying. Just, I'm a bit of a sanguine, so I tend to wiggle when there's music going on.
I was just doing that earlier. earlier too. I didn't want to shut it off because I miss my music. I used to dance and listening to music and just shaking in the house a little bit is it's awesome to be able to do that.
Absolutely.
So don't forget to do that, you guys. And it is awesome to see the many different people, the voices, and they're sharing, and it makes me smile so much to see that. It's awesome.
And silence. Music cannot exist without the silence between the notes. So when we are regenerating our body, we need silence. Silence is rest. It's true rest. Okay? So the music of your life is going along, but every once in a while we have to stop and feel the silence. And then the music of our life can start back up again.
That's a great point. Because we don't do that enough.
No.
I personally don't nearly what I need to, and I know a lot of people in group, we get hooked to the phones, and because that's our connection, that's our live connection to the people that get us, and so to put that down is hard, but yes, it's an excellent point to remember. You've got to just disconnect, and like you said, go enjoy nature, live in it, be in it. It's a little hard for us when it's negative 40 below here, but
you're lucky.
Yeah. Oh, right. Not so much. No. Yeah. Florida, I'm waiting. I cannot wait until I'm in Florida. Visiting, moving, I don't care. But this coldness, no. I want real sun and ground.
Yep, I've been in that. Growing up in Maine, we have the same weather. I've seen 56 below zero with no wind chill. Even the wind leaves. Even the wind leaves when it's 56 below zero. Yeah, it's like, it's too cold for me, I'm out of here. So, I think we should wrap this up. For people that found this video insightful, would you please like, subscribe, and or leave a comment.
Yes. Thank you guys. We love you. Keep trucking. You got this. And
keep it simple.
You can send your comments, questions to our email, LivefoodDtox@gmail.com, or post as well on our Facebook group, as you guys have been doing. So,
should I let Angie do that this time, so I didn't put the www in there? Sorry about that in the first video.
Okay.
All right. Love everybody. Fantastic being able to do this with you, Angie, and I will talk to you later.
Yeah, same here. Take care.
Bye,
guys.
I'm as happy as I can be, 'cause DDT is good for me. Brought to you by Propaganda and Lies.